Uh, is it better, everyone? Hi, everyone. Sarthak, Nikita, is it okay? Okay. I think many of the participants are still to join, right? So I see very less participants right now. Let's just wait for a couple of minutes, right, so that everyone is in, so that we can save ourselves from repetitions, right? Let's just wait for 3 4 minutes so that we get everybody over here. In the meantime, please, grab your tea, right? You can open the files and we'll start up.
Okay, so we also let's start. So we have most of the people in now. Okay. So anyone having any questions, doubts, before we move ahead, right? Like yes, in the previous session we had talked about data blending, right? So what is data blending, right? So when we talk of data blending now, so what is the condition where I will be using data? Yep. Okay, so for joining two tables with that, we can use joins also. So why will I go for data blending? No, common field is required. Without common field, we cannot join. No, it's not mandatory for two data sources. First, do the grouping of the data and then join the data. Right, so right, Arush. So first, we create uh, we do the grouping, and then the join is created. What type of join is created in this when we talk of this data blending? Left join, right? So it will always give us a left join. Perfect. Okay. So see, these were the two, that the this was a chart that we had created as the end product on that day. So are you all able to make this? Do you all have the same chart? Okay. So now you know what we do is this chart that we have created, right? So we were talking that like when we have this on the same page, when the chart gets broken up into two parts, so what happen is we get the marks over here also multiple, right? One is all. If you have to make a change to both the charts, you do it from all. If you have to make a change only to the sales chart or only to the target chart, you have the marks for that over here, right? Okay. See now in the charts you also see one is we can click on the show me and we can change the chart type. Right. Apart from that, what happen is like in every chart that you create, right? Anywhere when you create any chart, okay. So on those charts, what happen is you will see you get an marks option. Marks means like as in like on that chart, how you are displaying your point, right? So like for example, if I'm over here, right, by automatic it gives me circle. If you want a square, you can change it to square, right? So if you make an area chart, so it creates a kind of a this type of a chart. If you want to, like change the points, we can do that, right? So like for example, on this chart, by default it is a bar chart, but if you want to show the marks in the form of a area, you can do it, right? You can do it in the form of a circle also. So the marks can also be changed on the chart now. Okay. So for example, like this is the sales chart, one is the target chart. So if I go in the sales chart, I can convert this into a bar also. That above chart is bar and the below chart is line. Correct? So please try it. Now, still if you all will feel, right, this chart is not very easy to compare, right? You have one chart above, one chart below. So I cannot make sure that, whether I overachieve the target or I underachieve the target, right? So that is where, what we do is we use the concept of dual axis. Dual axis means the two charts will overlap one another. So the axis that you have, one sales axis will come on this side and target axis will come on this side. So how we convert this into a dual axis chart is, see, right click on the target, you will find the option of dual axis. Okay. If you come to click on the dual axis, this is how the chart is going to look like. So you have to right click on the target and convert this chart into a dual axis. So when you do this, so this is how the chart is going to look like. Now you see that the two charts are now overlapping one another. Yep, that's the right click. You can right click over here also. That also gives you a dual. If you don't want to dual axis chart, you can change it this way also. Right? And you want it back, right click and say dual axis. You will get the dual axis chart. So Kaushik, so when you are, so it's not, so is it both the line charts, right? It would be showing both the line charts for now for you. So no worries. So we changed one of the chart to bar. So click on the sales chart. So you can change the marks type. You click on the sales chart. You click drag down over here. See, automatically it would be line. But over here, what you do right now is you can change it to bar from it. Okay. So now you know once this chart is converted into a dual axis chart now. So now if I ask you, now can I compare whether I overachieved or underachieved? So can I do now? No, right? Still, I cannot understand whether I overachieve the target or I underachieve the target. The reason for that is, if you will see on the left hand side, your sales axis, it is going from 0 to 110K. And if you will take on this side, it is 0 to 60K. Right? The axes on both the sides are not on the same scale. Right? So when you take a look on this bar chart, right, it is somewhere around, coming around, 15,000 over here. But this is not 40,000. This is around 30,000. So what we do in that case is whenever we create the dual axis chart, so always remember you have to right click on this side and you have to synchronize the axis. Synchronize the axis means both the axes will be on the same scale. 0 to 110K, 0 to 110K. So you have to synchronize the axis. Got it, everyone? So Sudhir, like that was a complete process, that we had to understand how to add the sales and targets. So there was a complete understanding that had gone into it. So I will request, right, to go through that video to understand the concept. So that is how you will be able to make it up. So there was a complete concept of data blending that we had discussed, how, where the things are used. So without that understanding, you will not be able to get this up. So right click over here and you can say synchronize the axis. So that is going to synchronize it, right? So before it was not synchronized, right click over here and say synchronize axis. Got it, everyone? Okay. So just give me a moment or okay, so can you please come to this folder over here? Yep. So that's not a problem. So it is sometime due to that screen resolution, it gives something like that. So it can be just because of that. So that X is 110K, but both side it will be same. Okay. See now on this chart, right? If I ask you, right, can we do something that so that we can get better representation in terms of like if I want to achieve in a better way that okay whether we overachieved or underachieved, can something extra can be done over here to like by looking at the chart itself someone should be able to tell like whether it was an overachieve or an underachieve. Colors, right, Sachin? So what we can do is we can add some colors to it, right? So if I can show somewhere that say suppose if the bar is in in green color, that means we overachieved. If it is in red, that means we underachieved. So what we will do now over here is we will add a calculated field. So let's do all of us. If you click on the little arrow, we will say create calculated field and let us call it as sales achievement. So let's call it as sales achievement. Please do it, all of you. So the condition that we will write is, I am simply going to say that if the sum of sales, right? So you have to click over here, this little arrow. Your data source should be selected as list of orders, and you will say create calculated field. Right? We are going to call it as sales achievement. Okay. So if I say if sum of sales is greater than, you have to say target. If sum of sale is more than target, it will automatically show you the sum. So please do it. If sum of sales is greater than, just type target, it will automatically pick sum of target. Please don't pick sales target, it should be target only. Right, so we are writing a if condition. Right, so basically, we are comparing that if the sale is more than target. So the reason it is automatic is, because target is coming from the different source. Right, target is coming from a different source. So as we said, right, different source, so there is an automatic aggregation that happens. Okay. So because the target is coming from a different source, so it's going to sum it up. So now we are writing a condition, right? So this is how you write the if condition. If I'm saying if sum of sale is more than sum of target, then what do you want? Right? All, am I audible? Uh, okay. So if I'm saying if sum of sale is more than sum of target, then I want the output as overachieved. So that overachieved is a text data, so that is why it will come in the double quotes. And if the condition is failing, else it will be underachieved. And then you have to end this. You can add any other the aggregation also. If you want sum, you can do sum. If you want average, so you can write average formula over here. So that will give you the average in that case. So case can also be used. That's the same thing. You can use case or you can use if. Okay. And whenever you write the if condition, so you also have to end it. Then this is where the condition is ending. And Tableau also, itself shows you that the calculation is valid. Okay. Then you click on apply and okay. So Kaushik, the thing that you would be getting in your case is you would be getting sum two times, right? You would be getting sum two times over here. So you don't have to, make sure the sum is coming once and the brackets are properly closed. Sum of sales greater than sum of sales target. So basically what happen is that you don't really need to type sum of target. You just type the target over here. It will automatically pick the sum. So if you say target, and it will automatically pick that sum for you. right? Then we want the output as overachieved, else underachieved. You just click on apply and OK. Your field will be created. Just I have pasted it. Right. So then what you do is you just pick up the field of sales achievement and put it on the, like select this sales chart. On the sales chart, put the sales achievement on the color. Now you will see wherever we overachieved, it is coming in blue color, and wherever we underachieve, it is coming in the orange color. Right. So make sure you're dragging it on the bar chart. And now we have done it. So expand the sales, and in that, drag the sales achievement field on the color. So Kasturi, what are you seeing on your chart? If you can just tell me, like what do you see on your chart? Right. So this chart becomes sales versus target. So you have, I please check the field that you have dragged. Over here, it is target or it is sales target. So Karin, please make sure that you have dragged this right, like on the, so first of all, can you copy and paste the condition in the chat? Like what is the condition that you have written, Karin? You can right click on that field, edit it, and then just copy that condition and paste it over here. No, so if you will just put it over, so I'll just have a check on that, Karim, if you can just put it up over here. So make sure that this is target and not sales target somewhere you have selected it. That is one part. And then what you do over there is you have to click on, the expand this sum of sales chart, this over here, drag this field on the color over here. See, basically what is happening is, as I told you, right, you have the all, right? All means the color will change for both. But if you want to apply the color only on the bar chart, that is sales chart. So what we do over there is you just have to drag this sales, the achievement on the color of the bar one, the sales chart. So Gauri, can we get target as well as the sales value on the tooltip? So it will come simultaneously, right? If you will hover on this, right? So this like over here sales achievement, and when you hover on the sales line, it will come target. Are you trying to ask that you want to show both the things like while hovering on the bar chart itself that you want to show? So same steps, right? So go on the sales chart, right? Drag the target on this tooltip, right? So you will see that both the things now coming up, sales and target. Okay. So money, so this is basically if formula, right? So in the if formula, what we do is we write the conditions, right? Like for example, you write the normal conditions as, right? If A is more than B, then what do you want to achieve? So it's like a if formula. So if you want to get some conditional output, right? So you will write that way. So what happen is like, there are some formulas, right? Like if you come from that Excel background, so you will be able to see that there are, the basically Excel formulas that we have. So when you make a calculated field, okay, so this is for everyone now. See, whenever you make any calculated field, you will, if you click on this little arrow, it will show you the different formulas, right? Like if you want to calculate average, right? So you will see that average formula coming over here. So it shows you the example also that how to use this average, what this formula will do, right? If you want to use case statement, so it will tell you that what that case statement does and how to use or write that formula, right? So you will have that options over here to explore. So can you please put that formula in the chat? What is the condition that you have written? So Amrita, where can I get the data? See, data sheet is available on this the Google Drive link, right? So the one that I've just shared, right? So it's available over here. So I'm sharing this link again. Mhm. So Abigail, how can we calculate the sum of profits? How can we calculate? I didn't get a question, sorry. Okay. See, I'm repeating this part. See how we have made the calculate field. You have to, your list of orders should be selected, right? And you just simply say over here, create calculated field, right? Give it a name, like I gave it a name as sales achievement. And you will have to write a formula that if, now this is the condition. I am saying if my sum of sales is greater than target, right? If the sum of sale is greater than target, then what should I achieve? My output should be then overachieved, right? So when you select the target, you just have to type target, right? So I repeat again, you have to just type target. If the condition is true, then the output should be overachieved. Else, that means if the condition is false, else I want the output as underachieved. And you end it. Make sense? And Tableau is a smart tool. It will also show you. See, you have to start becoming, like basically I'm here to try to tell you the way so that you all become independent, right? So like if you see Tableau itself will show you if in case your formula has an error. So you just what you do in that case is you have to click on this little message. See, in my case, it is saying that you have already created a field by the name of sales achievement. So you cannot have two fields by the same name, right? If I rename it to two, right, then the calculation is valid because now these are different fields. So there is no error in that. So the error goes away. Make sense? So Abigail, right, if you want to calculate the profit, see basically if you have to calculate the profit using the formulas, so you need to have two fields with you, right? Something like say suppose you will say you have sales and the cost, right? So if in case you have the two fields with you, sales and cost, so you can create profit as sales minus cost, right? So that will give you that column of profit or the calculation of profit. Make sense? And then the filters can be applied from here. So if you're trying to compare like the calculate formula that we have in the Power BI, so that calculate stuff we do not have in this, right? So it's basically you just have to write a calculate field sales minus cost. You will get that way. Which plus sign are you talking about, Amol? I didn't get your point. This one, see, this is okay. This is like expansion. So basically, like when you come over here, so you're showing it up. So it will take the chart from month to day level. So this is something it takes it up, right? So like if you take it minus, right? So it comes to this level. You do it this. So it just changes that aggregation of that chart. Okay, it comes to the quarter level, right? You get it at the year level. So that is how it comes up. It changes the aggregation. Make sense? So you have to create, so Kasturi, you have to create a calculated field. You have to click on that, and that is where the formula that I gave you that you have to write it up in that. So you right click on that. So I'm just sharing the formula with you. You can just use that up. Okay. See now when we talk about this dual axis chart, so we will create one or two more dual axis charts to understand these functionalities better. See, the next chart that we talk about over here is that is Pareto chart. So anyone knows what is a Pareto chart now? Right, Tariq? So something which we use for 80-20 rule. Right. So see, Pareto was one of the physicians, right? So he said that like 80% of the consequences happen from the 20% of the reasons. Right? Like it says that 80% of the sales, so for example, I'm saying 80% of the sales comes from 20% of the products, right? Or otherwise, we can say that, for example, we are saying that if I'm talking about, the any customer care center, right? Any customer care center. So when we call them up for the complaints. So 80% complaints come from 20% reasons. Okay, this is what Pareto chart states. So first of all, I would like to show you that how the Pareto chart looks like. Okay, so if I show you, right? So now this is how a Pareto chart looks like. So if I show you this right now, or maybe now I can see, you can see it from here also. See, if you will take a look on this chart, so in this chart, what we are showing is that, like, what type of defects come in a shirt, right? So what type of defects come in a shirt? So now it is saying that, in a shirt, you have button defect, you can have a pocket defect, you can have a collar defect, you can have a sleeve defect likewise. And what I see from here right now is that it is telling that the highest number of complaints come for button defect, right? And then it's for the pocket defect. So 80% of the problems, 80% of the total problems, they are just for button and pocket. So if somewhere I am able to control these two defects in my shirt, so what is going to happen is my 80% of the problems will go down. Are you getting it? So there are five type of complaints that I get, but 80% of them are coming because of button and pocket. So if I am able to control that, so that way what will happen is I will be controlling my 80% of the problems now. Make sense? Right? So similarly, right, like you see this other chart now, it is showing me that how the sales was generated for the different subcategories. So if I plot, the highest sale was generated by the binders, right? Then papers, then phones. So if I see over here, 80% of the sale, right, where this 80% line is coming, it says that 80% of the sales are generated by these subcategories. And rest of these subcategories are only giving me 20% of the sales. Make sense? Okay. So now how do we make this up, right? So the see, understanding of this chart is very, very important. So let me show you, because this is the same thing we will be applying in the Tableau and we will be doing the calculations. Right. So I am saying, suppose defects. There are different type of defects I got. Defect A, B, C, D, and E. These are the kind of defects we got. And these were the numbers, that how many defects I got. So for A, I got 100 defects. For B, I got suppose 70. For C, we got 30, then 20, and 10. Right? So if I see over here, right? So first of all, all the defects that you get, you have to sort that data in the, descending order. Okay? You have to sort the data in the descending order. Then what you do is you find the cumulative sum. What is cumulative sum? Right? Cumulative sum is when you start adding the data one by one. That means complaint A was 100, A plus B, that becomes 170, right? A plus B plus C, that becomes 210, right? Then A plus B plus C plus D, that becomes 230, and this becomes 240. So that is called as cumulative sum, right? Cumulative sum means you keep adding the data one after the another. Does that make sense to all of you? Okay. Then what we do is we calculate the cumulative percentage, right? Cumulative percentage is that what was the percentage of complaint A of the overall target? What was the percentage of complaint for the overall of A plus B, right? Then A plus B plus C. So that is cumulative percentage. Basically, I will say equal to this number divided by the overall total. Okay. And if I keep drag it down, so I will be able to get the number up till here. Let me reduce this down number to suppose 30. And over here also I will apply the formula only, so that if I change something, so the number will change. This plus this, right? So you can see that complaint A was responsible for the 43% of the reasons, right? Complaint A plus B together, they were responsible for the 73% of the complaints. A plus B plus C was responsible for total 86% of the sales. And likewise, I can see the percentages. So does that make sense to all of you? These numbers are we calculated? Yep, everyone. So we can get the chart in the Excel also. Okay. So now what we do is we'll go back to this Tableu now. And on that chart, what we do is when we make a the Pareto chart. So what we actually do over there is we show these numbers on the bar chart and these cumulative percentages on the line chart. This is what we actually do. Okay, this is how we do it. So let's do it. Let's try to make the Pareto chart over here in Tableau now. So I'll give it a title, Pareto chart. Okay. So we will make this chart for subcategories. So bring the subcategory and put it on the columns. Okay. Then you bring the sales, put it over here in the rows. And sort this data in the descending order. Right? Okay. So now pick up the sales field and drop it over here also again. So you will get two bar charts. Okay. Now on this below chart, right? The below chart that I have, what I have to do is I have to find the cumulative sum. Right? On this chart, I have to find the cumulative sum. How can I do that? Anyone who can tell? How can I find the cumulative sum on this? That first category should be bookcases. Over here, it should be A plus B. Right? Then all the three right arrows, running total. So we just have to use the table calculation. We don't need to make any calculative field over here. We will use the table calculation. And remember, all of you, we use table calculation to find the percent of total. Yep. So now on which sum of sale I have to apply the table calculation? The first one or the second one? Second one. Perfect. So what you do is right click on that, and over here you will find the option of quick table calculation. Right, and this is where you will be able to, you have to select the right calculation. Can you find it? Which calculation will I apply? Right, so we will apply running total. Running total is cumulative sum. Right, running total. So if you apply the running total now on this, you will see now the data is getting cumulatively added over here. This, then the first two added, first three added, first four added, and likewise. Make sense? Correct? No, no, it will be only applied to the below chart. See, above chart is sum of sales only. Below is the running total. Make sense? So if I show you in this Excel, so this we have achieved, right? And this also we have achieved, right? But this is something we have not achieved yet, right? This percentage is yet to be achieved. So Swarupa, please make sure that you are right clicking on the sales, the second one. Right click on that, and then you are changing it to the running total. Right? If you have done on both of them, so then it will show on both, right? So for example, if I do it over here as well, then it will show on both. So from first one, you have to remove it. On the second one only, you have to keep the running total. Yes, so wherever it is, wherever the table calculation is applied, so it shows a triangle sign like this. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to calculate the cumulative percentage. So how do I do that? The cumulative percentage is that this total, this number divided by the overall total, right? Then this number divided by the overall total. That is how I will get the percentage. Yes, everyone? This number divided by the grand total. That is how I will get the percentage. So do I have any table calculation for that? Right, that would be percent of total. Right, the percent of total is something we have to apply. But the problem is I have already applied one table calculation. Right, there is one table calculation that I have already applied. So what do I do now? So see, if you will right click on the sum of sales, you will say edit table calculation. Right, so when you say edit table calculation, you will get this box opened up. So please do it. Edit the table calculation. This box will come up onto your screen. Okay. Now see, it is saying that you have already applied running total. But what we can do is, you can do more than one table calculation also on that chart. So that is where you will say add secondary calculation. So when you say add secondary calculation, that means first of all this calculation will be applied, and after this is done, then you can have the next calculation to be applied on that. Okay. After I have found the running total, what is the next calculation we have to apply? That is percent of total, right? Percent of total. That's it. And click on close. Now you see the numbers are coming in the form of percentages, right? 12%, 24, cumulative percentages, and last will be 100%. Make sense now? So denominator will be the total of the sales, the sum, the final sum that you get. Because if you see over here, so that is, we are dividing it by the overall total only, that is 230. That was 230 because when we are cumulatively adding, in the last we will receive the final total. So that is the overall total that you will have. So cumulative total is overall total only, right? So I hope this is clear. So that is how we find that. So first of all, what we have done is we have found the running sum, right? 100 plus 70, 100 plus 70 plus 30 plus 20 plus this. So it's not this overall total. It's not the sum of overall total. It's basically the running sum is basically it's the total by the final number. That is what you will get by 230, not the sum of all these numbers. Right? So now we can see this up. What should be my next step now, everyone? No, Karen. So you cannot go to the directly to the percent of total. See, in that case, what will happen is, see, for example, so don't do it, everyone. I'll show you this. See, if I clear the table calculation, this is the chart. So in that case, if you directly use percent of total, it will divide this number by the overall total. Then this number by the overall total. So which will not be a cumulative percentage. It will be the percentage sale of A only, percentage sale of B only. But we want percentage of A, then A plus B, then A plus B plus C. So that is why this is called as because see, we are calculating as an overall, like how many categories together were giving me 80% sales. We are not looking for one category which is giving me 80% sales. We are seeing how many categories together are giving me the 80% sales of overall. Okay. So that is why we will apply the quick table calculation of running total and right click, edit table calculation, and we will add a secondary calculation on that. That will be percent of total. Okay. Now what we do is, what will be the next step, everyone? Dual axis. Right? So we will be creating a dual axis chart. So if you right click on this, convert it into dual axis. So when you change the chart to dual axis, these marks sometimes change. You will see these marks have changed. But I am sure you all know what to do over here. This is the bar chart and this is the below bar chart. What will I do? If I'll come to the above sales chart where it is showing me bubbles right now, can I convert it into a bar chart? Right? And these bubbles that are going, this is for the below chart where we applied the table calculation. I will convert this into a line chart and change its color, right? Change the line color to orange and there it is. See, over here you will not do the synchronization of the axis. So you have to be careful. So because one is percentage and one is sales value, right? So the synchronization will not happen over here. Please all of you do it. I'll wait for a minute. Sure, Deepak. So see what we have done is, do you have this chart with you? Yes, Deepak. Right. So what has happened right now is when originally the chart was this, right? The chart was this. But when we changed into a dual axis chart, so what happened over here was the pointers changed on the chart. The bars got converted into circles, right? The numbers are same, just that instead of bars, we are getting circles over here, right? For both the charts. Correct? This is what has happened. So now what I do over here is if I click on the sum of sales, I will be changing this into bar. The first where we are showing the actual sales, that we convert into a bar. So please do it. Okay. And likewise, the below chart, you have to change it into a line. Okay. And the line chart, you can change the color also. Click on the color, edit colors, this percent of total into line, or orange colors. So this is where you will receive the end product. Okay. So basic color palette is that you have different colors, right? So if you will see over here, like you can choose different color palettes from here. You have a lot of colors that you will get, so you can choose any color palette from here. Like if you want that sum of sales to be in this color, percentage into this color, so you can just assign and pick any color palette from here. So the color will change accordingly. They are just the color groups. Yep, so this is what we have. Right, so what we do is, right, on this chart that we have just created, So what we will do as an additional part over here is, see, if I come back to this chart, okay, if I come back to this chart, see what we can do is we can see right now it will be a little tough for a person to understand where that that 80% mark is coming. So what we do is we actually add a reference line, right? So if I will right click on this, I will have an option of add reference line. So please do it everyone. Right click over here and add reference line. This dialog box will come up. Okay. So this dialog box that comes up, from here select this value as constant and put the value as zero point 0.8, that you want to show a reference line at 80%, 0.8. So this will pass this line from here from the 80%. So you can achieve that, okay, this is where this is meeting the 80% criteria. So these are the, the subcategories which belong to that, the 80% bucket. Okay. So you can change the value. See, by default it will show 0.12. Just delete it and write 0.8 over there. Right click and you have to add a reference line. And over here, select constant. So this number that you see, just write it 0.8 over here. Okay. So Amol, for that, you will have to make some calculative fields. Like technically we do not do it. So if you will try to create a calculated field, right? So you will have to write something like this, that if running sum, right? Running sum of sales, right? So this is how you will have to use it. So if I say if running sum of sales divided by sum of sales, right, is less than or equal to 0 0.8, then you want to call it as, say, suppose A, else B, right? This is something you'll have to create and end it, right? So this is where, we'll have to do some calculations on that. So that way it will come up. Make sense? So do you all have this chart now, everyone? Any question, anyone up till here? So I would like to take a pause for 2-3 minutes so you can ask any questions, queries if you may have stuck somewhere, any doubts. Which one? The sum of the reference line. Are you talking about that, Alex? Okay. So that is That was just I was trying to, explain. So you have this formula over here that if, so running sum can be written over here also like this, right? So you will see running sum, right, of sum of profit, right, divided by sum of, sorry, not profit, sales, divided by the sum of sales. Then I want the output as A, else B, and. Mm, sorry, is less than equal to 0.8, right? So this is something you can do, A and B, apply and okay. So this calculation, if I come on the bar chart, you put on the color, sorry, not on the bar chart, this will come on the line chart. Mhm. Right, so you see now, so it's showing that number over here on this basis. See, Tariq, so table calculation means basically you are using the data on the chart to do the calculation, right? So you are using the data on the chart to do the calculation. That is something we understand by the table calculation. And calculated field is like additional field that you are getting, that you are adding in the data, right? The additional field that you are adding in the data is something which we call it as the, basically this, the calculated field. Okay. Right. So now what we will do is, see, I'll show you another example of dual axis chart. Now this is a very interesting example. That is a donut chart. Okay, that is a donut chart. Okay. So what's the donut chart? We will try to understand that. See, what's the donut chart? Everyone. Right. See, donut chart is something that looks like this. Right. It is just something which is belonging to the family of pie charts. A chart which is belonging to the family of pie charts. But it has a circle inside it. Right? Like when we see a pie chart, so what happens in that case is you will see that pie chart is something which is completely filled with the colors, whereas donut chart is something which has a white space inside it. Okay. So, this chart is not available directly in the show me. This chart is not available directly in the show me. So what we have to do is we basically have to take the help of dual axis chart in order to create it. So let's see it. So let's take a break after this chart. Will that be fine? or do you like to have it now? Yep, you can vote, everyone. Okay, so we have more votes for after the chat, right? Okay. Right, so we'll make a donut chart now over here. Okay. So for making a donut chart, first of all, you have to make a pie chart only. That's it. So let's make a chart, pie chart of sales by segment. So you pick up the segment, you pick up the sales, and bring it over here and convert this into a pie chart. So please, all of you do it. Got it? So now you know what we do over here in this case is that this pie chart. Does this pie chart have axes in them? Does this pie chart have any axes in this? Yep. All am I audible to all of you? Okay. So now you know what I want to do over here is so in this chart, right? We do not have any axes in this. So if I don't have any axis itself, so how can I make a dual axis chart? Getting it? Because axes are something which are rows and columns that you get. So what I will do is I will create my own dummy axis. And how can I do that? See, double click in this rows and you can write some data over here also. If I say minimum of 1, right? So if I say min of 1, just again. Is it better now? So now what I do over here is like in this case we create a axis. So I'll repeat it. Double click over here and just write a formula of min of 1. So when you say min of 1, that is going to give you a dummy axis. You will get one axis over here. In the rows. So double click in the rows and write min of 1. So that will create an axis over here. Okay. Right now I have got only one axis. Okay, right now I have got one axis. So now you want one more axis. So again double click over here and write min of 1. Same thing again. And you will see the chart splits into two parts. One over here, one over here. Okay. Two pie charts means two changing options over here. Right? Pie charts, two changing options. So go to the below one pie chart. Go to the below pie chart. So this second chart. Okay. Now from that pie chart, do one thing. Just remove the sum of sales from size. Remove the sum of sales from size. Remove the segment from the color. Okay. Then what you do is go on the above pie chart, this one. Increase the size of this. Okay. So now can you tell me what will I do? 90% of the task is done. Right? Dual axis. Just you make dual axis, the charts will overlap. Right? Right click on this, dual axis, and there it goes. Correct? And if you come to the below chart now, so you can change the color this to white. So you want to make a little bit big and white, so you can do that also. So your pie chart is now ready over here. So actually we have to use these kind of tasks in order to create these charts now. Yep. So then you can hide the axis, right? If you right click over here and like you say this show header, right click and say show header, the axis will be gone. Okay. So dual axis you have to do over here, right? So I'll just repeat it. This is what you have right now. Okay, this is what you have. The same stuff. Right click over here and say dual axis. Or right click over here and say dual axis. So any side you can do that. If you click on this, you say dual axis. Which scale, Karim? So Vidya, so like for that, what you have to do is this chart that you have got, you have to play with that. So like what we did was, this is what you would be having, right? This is right now you have, okay. What you do is you remove the sum of sales from the size. And that is why Vidya, you have to remove the sales from the size. So you have not done that. So in the below chart, the sum of sales is still in the size. So if that would be there, so it will change the size of both. You have to remove the sum of sales from here, below chart, from the size, and segment from the color. Right? So you will be getting a gray circle now. Okay? Then you go on the above pie chart, increase the size of that. So it will increase the size only of the above pie chart. Okay. Then you right click on the below one and you make it a dual axis. And this is how you will get this now. Both the charts overlap. So this is a parrot or the donut chart. And on the below chart, you can then go back on the circle one and click on the color and change it to white. To increase the size, you have to go on the above pie chart. So if you will go over there, it will increase the size of above pie chart, right? And if you want to increase the size of inner circle, so go on the below chart and change the size of that. See, basically what you're getting is you're getting the two options over here, right? So you are getting the sum of two pie charts we had. So you when you're making the change on the above one, it is affecting now the above chart, outside chart. And when you're making change on the inner one, it's affecting the inner chart. So Kasturi, what do you see on your screen right now? Make sense, all of you? Then you want to hide these axes. You see the two axes over here. One axis on this side, one axis on this side. So these are like headers. So if you right click on this field, first field, and you will say uncheck the show header, and similarly right click and uncheck the this show header, right? So you will see now axes are gone. Okay, okay. So this is where we will take a pause, right? So we'll take a break over here now, and then let's get started after that. Yeah. Here, so all just give me 2 minutes, right? So I'm just starting it up. So here, so let's start. Okay. So now you know what we do as the next step over here is. So this is clear, everyone. Donut chart and the Pareto chart that all we have made up till here right now. Okay. So now you know over here, see, we will do one more. I will say a small example of seeing the data blending again. Okay, I just want so that you all are clear on that. So we will take one more example of the data blending now. So please, can you go to that? I'm just sharing the Google Drive link also again. So over here, you have to download this file airline comparison. So I'm just sharing this link. So please download this file, the airline comparison. Yes, the Excel file. Yeah. So this is what you have as a file, right, where you have period, region, and revenues. So please download it. Done. Okay. No, so this is an example, right? So that you all are, like clear with that blending. Now I want you all to try this. See, like for example, in this data set, we have two airlines, airline one and airline two. Okay. So what is expected over here is that you have to use data blending, right? You have to use data blending, and using data blending, create two charts. Okay. The chart number one, you have to show year on year analysis, right? Like in which year, which airline performed better. And second is region by region analysis. You have to showcase which region performed better on a regional basis, right? So you can see for both the airlines, we are given the data of 2015 and 16, right? 15 and 16 data is given to me. And it is also given to me that, the airline one is operating in these regions and airline two is operating in these regions. So you have to create a chart to show the, so that I can understand that, okay, if I talk about 15 and 16, which airline performed better? If I talk about on the regions, which airline performed better? The dataset name is the first one, the airline comparison, right? So please take your 2 minutes and all of you try it out. Go with the thought process of data blending. See, this can be achieved with data joins also, but I want you to achieve it with the help of data blending. Yes, dataset is airline comparison. Correct. Yep. Are you able to do it? So the task is, Alex, you have to download this data set of, the airline name. You have the data of two airlines, airline one and airline two, and the data is given like what was the revenue they earned in the different year in the different regions. So you have to make two charts. One is year on year analysis and one is region by region analysis. Right. And the regional analysis. So how we do it? So if I come over here, if I open a new file, okay, we connect to the data. It's an Excel file. Okay. So what we do is we track the first sheet, that is airline one. And then what we do over here is to do the data blending. What I need to do, everyone? Right? New data source, data, new data source, Excel, and airline comparison again. And this time we bring the airline 2. Right? So we have to use data blending. So in the data blending, we have to connect to the two data sources. But when you make a join, so in that case, you have to double click. Make sense? If I come on the sheet 1 now, so what we will see over here is we will be able to see the two data sources. If I want to do a period to period analysis, right, I want to see year on year analysis. So if I bring the period over here and I bring the revenue of the airline one over here, right, and maybe we can make the chart something like this one, 15 and 16. And if I go in the second data source, over here we will find the revenue again and I'll drag it up over here. But what happens over here is I get a problem of relationship, right? So why is Tableu not able to create a relationship over here, everyone? No, so it's not a data type mismatch. It's just that the column names are different. So right with the column names are different. So over here in the first data source, it is period. In the second one, it is year. So the column names are different. So because the names are different, so Tableau is not able to identify that relationship. So what I do in that case is I click on data, edit blend relationships, So between the two data sources, we can see region to region is present, right? So that is basically, that is already there. So I will click on custom, add, and I will say period in this data set, year in this data set. They are also same. And you click on OK and OK, your data will get correct. Make sense? So Kalpesh, which part do you want me to repeat? So you click on data, edit blend relationships. Okay. So automatically what happens over here is it is going to find the relationship by region, right? That relationship is already there. So if you click on custom over here, right? So you will not see this relationship. You will see only region relationship. Then what you do is you have to click on add and you have to do the mapping, right? So what we are saying over here is we are saying the period over here and year over here. Okay. So period and year, they are also related. They are the same field, just the column names are different. So if you click on OK now, that the relationship will be added and you click on OK, the chart will be created. So what happens is you start seeing those icons over here. Likewise, if you come over here in the airline one, right, if you want to do a regional analysis. So what I can do is if I pick up the region from here and I pick up the revenue of airline one and revenue of airline 2, you will be able to see that chart, right? So right away, because now the region relationship was already there, so it doesn't create any problem for me. So Kasturi, have you done that blend relationship? You have to click on data and new data source. Have you done that? So what we do is, have you downloaded the data set? The airline data set, are you able to download it? Okay. So please follow the steps over here. You have to click on Excel, airline comparison and open. Right? You drag the airline one. Done this? Then what you do is you click on data and new data source again. So data, new data source, choose Excel and select the same file one more time. And then you drag airline 2 over here. Okay. So Tariq, are you sorted up till here? So now what you do is you start creating the chart, right? Like the first chart we made on the basis of period. So you pick up the period, put it over here. You pick up the revenue, put it over here. You can see period and revenue. Then similarly, you go to the second airline and you drag the revenue from there. Okay. Now because the column names are different, right? In one data set it is period and in one it is year. So automatically the relationship is not identifiable. So what we do in that case is you have to blend the relationship. You will go on data, edit blend relationship. So automatically because region the column names were same, so that relationship exists. So you click on custom and you click on add and then you say period to year. That is also a mapping that you have. So that way the answer, the output will come correct. So if you click on show me, right? So what you can do is you can convert this into this type of a chart as well, right? Side by side charts. So for a easy comparison. See now you will see that airline 1 and airline 2 they are coming next to each other. Okay, they are coming next to each other. This is for 15 and 16. So you can see airline 1, airline 2. Okay. So which part do you all want me to repeat? So like Tushar, Deepak, Kaushik. You have to click on, so the chart would be this. So click on the show me and this is the chart, side by side chart. See, basically Deepak or Vishi, so what we have is, if you all will take a look on the data set, right? So what is happening is in the first data set, the column name is period. If you take a look on this period, and in the second data set, the column name is year. Got it? So because the column names are different, so what is happening because of that is, right, because the column names are different, so what is happening because of that is Tableau is not able to pick that relationship automatically. Getting it? But the region name is same. It is region over here and region over here. Because the column name is same, so Tableau is able to pick that relationship automatically. That okay, this region and region over there, they are the same field. Make sense? So that is why what we are doing over here is when you are trying to make that chart on the basis of year, so you were not getting the chart. So we clicked on data, edited the relationship. So automatically you will say that region to region, same column name, you find that relationship. So we click on custom, right? So this relationship will not be there. You click on add and you will say period over here and year over here. You tell that these are the same things, that this is also a relationship. You click on OK and you will get that. Make sense? So Kamal, this is the option that you have. This is where you have the side by side chart. Ninth chart. So yes, Vanindra, you have to do that. So basically you have to, no, I didn't see. What you do is you have to click on data, new data source and click on Excel and select that file. right? So when you will do that, so it will give a blank area. That is where you drag that airline to. That is where you drag it. Make sense, everyone? Are you all clear? So, Manigan, so I didn't get a question, please. You don't know these measure names. This is because there are two measures in this. So it has just combined the things together, right? That this is where you have the measure names now. It is showing, it is using that there are two measures that you have used. So that is, it is showing it up. So they are visible over here also, that you have revenue over here and the color coding is also there. So now you know what is happening is because in both the data sets, right? In both the data set, the name is revenue, right? In both the data set, the name is revenue. So you can rename in one of the field. You can call it as in the airline 2, you can call it as revenue 2. So you will get it. That revenue 2 means revenue of airline 2. This is the revenue of airline 1. Okay. Are we all clear on this now, everyone? Okay. So please save this file. So this was the next example, that I had shown you for the data blending. So Sudhir, we have added that airline 2, right? So revenue of the airline 2 is coming. This is from the airline 2. So Sushi, I have just renamed it. In this data source 2, renamed the revenue to revenue 2 because in both the data set name it was revenue 1. So it was little tough to identify that which one is revenue 1 and which one is revenue 2. So I just renamed that to revenue 2 over here. Right click and rename. That way it will happen. Okay. Yes, Ankit. That will also work. So because the column name will match, so definitely in that case, what will happen is because the column names are same, so that blend will happen automatically. I'll show you that. Ankit, I'll show you that. Not a problem. I'll show you the SQL server. So I have a SQL server with me installed on this machine. So I'll show you with that. See now, like if you remember, right, in the data blending, I told you that basically, what happens over there is that, we have the option, like in data blending, it is always a left join that is created, right? This is what we discussed, that data blending always gives you the left join, right? So if you, want to check that thing, right, if you want to see that output, I can show you over here in this data set. See, if I go into the dataset one, if you go into the Excel file, can you tell me in how many regions, airline one is operating? In how many regions airline one is operating? right? 6. And airline 2, 4, right? Airline 2 is operating in 4 regions, right? This is operating in 6 and this is operating in 4. So that means in airline 1, there are 2 extra regions. Am I right? Right. So see, that is where you will see the impact. Say like, for example, if I go back into the Tableu, if I pick, if I pick the period from airline 1, if I pick the period from airline 1, sorry, not period, region. If I pick the region, if I pick the region from airline 1, so you will see I'm getting 6 regions, correct? When I'm picking the region from airline 1, I'm getting 6 regions. What does left join mean? Yes, Kaushik, what is left join?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, yeah, Kasturi, yeah, I can hear you.
Uh, Sir, actually, I missed the sheet one actually. So could you please help me in that sheet one?
What is, first of all, what is left join?
Sorry.
What is the left join?
So left join means left side of the table. Left side of the table will be shown, sir.
Side of the table or no?
In the in this case, airline one and airline two are there, right? So airline one will be considered as the left, and the data items in the left
Right.
table are shown.
So basically, left join means you will get the complete data from the left table and the matching records from the right table.
Right.
Okay, so see, this is something we are doing. So understand it over here. See, so where are you struggling? Please tell me. So because I see you keep on asking for the request of unmute or maybe screen share again and again. So where is the challenge?
So currently I've missed the sheet one, sir.
No, like basically see, like
Sorry.
so I just want to understand from that point of view because we talked on that, but I have shown that sheet 3 times, right?
Sir, your voice is very low.
Okay, so I'm saying so sorry, so like I've shown that sheet 3 times, right? Like how we create that sheet now.
Yes, sir.
Sheet one. So where were you not able to follow it?
Sir, actually I've missed by loading the data, sir. So I've missed that. That's the reason I just wanted to at least see the columns and rows so that I can add, so that I can.
And
Uh,
connecting to the data source also I have shown 2 to 3 times.
yes, sir. I've missed actually here. I've missed. That's the reason I've asked.
No, no. I mean, see, because this is little, this is for the benefit of everyone, right? So I'm repeating the things, and if I will keep doing the same thing again and again, right? So we are eating away out the time, right? We will not be able to cover topics.
Yes, sir.
So how can you help everyone in this, right? So that we don't have to do that task multiple times.
Okay.
So now please just come over here and understand this. So data source is your now sorted. Do you have the 2 data sources on this? Like, can you see it?
Sorry, sir.
Can you see the 2 data sources over here?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm able to see.
Okay. So what they do is now if you pick up the region from this data source 1
Okay.
and 1, if you put it over here, so it is going to give you all the 6 regions in this.
Yes.
Right? You pick the revenue, so it will give you the revenue for every region.
Yes.
Now I have to compare this with the revenue of airline 2.
Yes.
So you go to the airline 2 then,
Yes, we can click on airline to
right? Then from there, what I take revenue 2.
revenue to.
So if you put this over here in the chart, so you will get the chart getting created.
Yes.
Okay. So we have to just make sure that the column region, right? Because region is present in this also, and the same column name is present in the region 1 over here in this data set also. So
Yes.
that is why so Tableau is able to identify that relationship automatically. We do not have to create any relationship.
Yes.
Now, but when we do the same thing for year, so now because period is in the data set one name, it is period, and in another data set name, it is year. Column names are different.
Yes.
So that way what happens is Tableau is not able to identify that relationship.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So that is where we go into the data and we say edit blend relationship,
Blend relationship.
right? So then what you do is you add that manually. You will say, okay, let me add and tell Tableau that period in the data set 1 and year in data set 2, they both are
Yes.
3.
Yes.
So that's it. Once you do it, so now that relationship will also get established and you can
Yes.
bring it out on the year also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now everyone, if you see, when I made this chart over here, see, I picked up my region from the data source 1, right? I picked up the region from data source 1, so I'm getting, see, all the 6 regions. Now, but if I do the same thing and if I pick the region first from the airline 2, right? If I pick the region from airline 2, so what this will do is this will give me only 4 regions because now this airline 2 becomes the left table. So that means complete data from the left table matching data from the right table. So if I now bring the revenue over here and I go back to the airline 1 and I pick the revenue from there, you will see that now this chart is giving me only 4 regions on the output, whereas the previous one gave me 6 regions. So that is where you have to be very much careful with this data, right? You have to understand the data first, then you decide which table will be left, which table will be right. Am I clear to all of you? That is how you will decide which airline, which will be uh, left table and right table, so that you do not miss out any data from the chart that you are creating. Okay. All, am I audible? Perfect. So are we all now clear on the data blending concept, everyone? See, now I will be putting one exercise also, and which is on the data blending. So please work on that and try to solve the questions for that. Yes, Swarupa. So see, in data blending, primary and secondary source, they are different for each sheet. So, and for every sheet, you will be deciding which you want to keep as primary and which you want to keep as secondary. So absolutely right. So blending happens individually for each sheet, whereas joins get created in one go only. You cannot change it for the different sheets. Just a second, guys. Let me plug in the charger. Okay. So, Alex, are there any rules or constraints on when to use it? See, right? So, Alex, when you know that the joins will give you inflated data. When the joins will give you inflated data, so that is where you have to use blending. Because blending first does the grouping of the data, then it joins the data. Make sense? Right. Yes, Amol. So basically, the joins basically they will physically join the data, whereas in the blending it's not physically joining it. The two data sets keep sitting separately. The moment when you drag the fields, that is when Tableau comes into the action. It does the grouping and then it brings the related data to that. So Kalpesh, will it work if we change the name of year to period in sheet 2 instead of... So in that case, that relationship will be automatically created, right? Like this is the same thing that is happening with region, because it is region in the airline 1 and region in the airline 2. So that is why I didn't had to create the relationship manually, because the column name was same. If the period, if it was year in this and year in this, then also that automatic relationship will happen, because now the column names are same. So Tableau is able to understand, oh, these are same stuff. Let me create a relationship for it. Make sense? Okay. Right. So now the next part, see, that is very interesting part that I will show you now. Okay, so what we do over here is, so if you come in this, I'll be just sharing that file first of all. You have to, just use this file. Just give me a moment. I am just putting this file right now. So please, download this file by the name of personal vehicle sales. So there is a file that I have uploaded on the drive by the name of personal vehicle sales. Please refresh the page once if it is already opened up. Refresh it once and download this file, personal vehicle sales. Done everyone? Downloaded the file? So here is the link. So, this file that you will all download, this is a little bit of a, different file type, right? What do I mean by that is, see, in this file, the data is not coming in the regular way the way we have seen the data coming up in all other Excel files, right? You will just watch on my screen for a minute, right? So what you see is, right, there are some, headers coming up, some subheaders coming up. There are some, hidden columns also in this Excel file. There are some hidden columns. If I say unhide, you will see there are hidden columns over here. Okay. And that is how the data is right now. But technically, all the other Excels that we have used, you would see that, data always started from first row. So what happens in Tableau if you bring the data from this uncleaned file, right? So if I bring the data from an uncleaned file, so how does Tableau behave in that case? So let's see. So all of you please open up a fresh new Tableau file, right? And connect to the data and grab the data from the personal this vehicle sales file that you have downloaded. So please do it. Personal vehicle sales and open it up. Okay. So if you will drag this personal car sales over here, the data will come, but you will see the data is not at all in a usable format. You see the column names over here, they are coming as a part of the data, and the column names are coming as F1, F2, F3, F4. Yes, this is how the data comes looks like. Right, lot of nulls, right, because these were blank columns. So I know very good stuff over here in Tableau is that Tableau comes with an automatic feature which can actually clean the data for you. See, technically the header should be over here. This region, country, 2005, 2005, these should be my header. But these are coming as a part of my data. So what you do is just click on this option over here, use data interpreter. Just check this box. Just click on this checkbox and your data will be cleaned. So data interpreter is a feature. What it does is it automatically takes care of the cleansing of the data. Over here on the right side. This is where you have it. You just have to click on the checkbox. Okay. Make sense? Now you all will see there is one column that is still coming. Right? There is one column which is still coming over here and in which you can see null values. Okay. So the reason for that is if you will scroll down, there would be some value that would be coming in this. That is why it has not hidden it automatically. So let's go down. See, there is some zero that is coming up because there was some value. So that is why this is not hidden. So what you can do, right click on this and hide it because I don't want it. So right click and hide it and it's gone. Make sense? So something which is changed at a data source level, Alex, so it will not be visible anywhere. And if you want it back, see, click on this option of settings, right, and say show hidden fields. So all the fields that you had that were hidden, they will be visible, right? So F3, F4, F5, they were technically hidden by the Tableau. And if you want to hide them back, so just uncheck it again, they will be hidden again. Over here. So if you need those values, don't hide it. I mean, keep them in that case, Kamal. If you feel that you need that field, so say show hidden fields and unhide it, right? So if you will unhide it, so in that case, you can use it the way you want. So that's it. So now this will be visible everywhere, but if you don't need it, hide it. So basically, when you clicked on that, so it was hiding those values which are not required. So they were like headers that were coming. So all those things are kind of now ignored. Make sense? Anyone? Any other help? Anyone need it? So anyone stuck somewhere? Okay. See now, if I ask you, create a chart to show the year-on-year sales, year-on-year car sales analysis, right? I want to see in which year we sold more cars and in which year we sold less number of cars. Can you create that chart? So take a minute and try to create it. I want to see in 2005 how many cars did I sell, 2005, 2006. So I should be able to compare in which year I sold more cars and in which year I sold less cars. So no, Tariq, you cannot replace the values in this Tableu. So you cannot replace the value. You will have to make a calculated column in that case. That if the value is null, then you want to assign some value in that case. So you cannot directly replace the values in this. Okay. So exactly, Amol, that is what we will need. So that is why I gave you all this task. That you actually right now in this current state, you cannot create the chart to show the sales by year. Right? In the current state, I cannot use this data to show the sales by year. Right? So basically what happened is there is something which we call it as machine readable data and one is called as human readable data. So this is a human readable data. This is not a machine readable data. Right? See, all the data sets that we have used, you will realize that for one type of data, we have one column, right? Like if you see all the periods are coming in one column, all the regions are coming in one column, all the revenues are coming in one column. But over here right now in this data, what is happening is all the years are coming in different columns. Now all the years are coming in different columns, so you cannot create a chart to show the analysis of basically you cannot show the chart to show the year-on-year analysis over here. Make sense, everyone? Because if you will go on the sheet 1, you can't keep dragging this sum like this, right? You will not be able to make any sense out of it. This is how the data is coming up, which is not what you would have expected. Okay? So what we do in that case is we actually have to pivot the data in that case. Right, what we have to do is, so please clear the sheet, clear of the sheet, nothing should be there on the sheet, come back to the data source and you will pivot the data. Pivot means to rotate, bring the columns into rows. So how to do that? select the first column of year, select 2005. So all of you please select 2005. Make sure on the sheet 1 there is no field, right? Sheet 1 is cleared. Nothing is used on the sheet 1. Everyone please check it once. Sheet 1, nothing is there on this sheet. Everything is clear. Nothing rows, columns, nothing, no, nothing over there. Okay. So now you come to the data source then. Select the year of 2005. Click on the header, right? Click on the header to select 2005. So this will be selected. Scroll on the right side so that you can reach to the last column. Then don't select it. Press Control Shift, and then click on this. So it will select all the columns within. Okay, select 2005. Scroll to the right so that you reach to the last column. Press Control Shift and click on the last column. So that will select all the columns within. From 2005 to 2014. Do you all see this selection now? Perfect. Now right click on any of the headers. Right click on any of the headers. Just right click over here and you will see an option of pivot. Right click and pivot. So once you do that, the data will be pivoted. Your now years will come in one column and the car sales parallel to that. Done? Now you can rename this. You can call this as years and this as car sales. So you have not hidden that field, Kaushik. You can just right click and hide it. So you can't delete it, you can just right click and hide. Make sense? Now if you will create a chart, you will be able to do it. Bring the year in the columns and car sales in the rows, and the chart is ready. Okay? So this is where, what we will do is, so you just double click on that and you say year. You can rename it. Double click on that and you can call it as year. And then in that case, you would have to do that thing in the Excel, then bring it over here. So, but we have achieved that thing in the Tableau itself, so that's a more convenient way. Okay. So all please save this work. So this is what we will continue over here tomorrow, right? So, yep, this is where we come to a closure, everyone. Okay. All right, thanks all. Sheet 1, this is what you have. So drag the year in the column and car sales in the rows. Okay, this is how you will get the chart. Oops, how did you get this thumbs up? Kalpesh in this? This is the first time I've seen it. Thank you. Thanks all. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you all tomorrow. So please keep practicing, right? So please do practice and then come up with the doubts, thoughts. We'll discuss on that.
Thank you so much for a wonderful session, Amit. And thank you all for your participation. Guys, do not forget to fill your valuable feedback once you leave the website session. The feedback form will auto-populate on your default browser. Also, you can go through this survey link and you can fill your valuable feedback with respect to today's session, as this will help us and the trainer for the future session as well. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you, guys. We'll end the session.